Hi guys, this is Dipti and welcome to my channel Life Admin 365 and welcome to today's video. Today I'm sharing with you my grocery haul from Wholesale Warehouse Costco and from Indian grocery store. My pantry supplies were dwindling and I was running low on so many items. So this haul ended up being a massive one, especially since I did grocery shopping from two stores. Plus I have teenage boys who go through food like there is no tomorrow. So I keep my pantry and fridge and freezer stocked up to the best of my ability. With all the grocery shopping done, it's time to put them where they belong. What I haven't shown you are the dairy products that I got in today's grocery haul. As soon as I came home, I put away milk, yogurt, cream cheese, sour cream, half and half, and eggs in my refrigerator. Typically, when I do my grocery hauls, I prep the veggies at the same time. This saves me time from putting them in the refrigerator only to take them out, prep them, and put them back in the refrigerator or freezer. But today I did my grocery haul after I got off work. So by the time I came home and recorded the initial part of this video, it was close to our dinner time. So for now, I'm keeping the veggie and other food products in the refrigerator, and in a couple of days I'm going to get them prepped. One thing I did before placing the produce in the refrigerator was to wipe the surfaces and the bins of the refrigerator with a mixture of warm water and vinegar. Not only does this mixture clean the refrigerator, but it also gives a clean feel to the refrigerator. Anyways, here's how my refrigerator looks after it has been restocked. The top two shelves are for dairy and egg products. The next two are for milk and any leftovers that from the day that the meals are made. And the bottom three are the drawers that hold the fresh produce or fresh cheeses that we are going to use during this week. So now I'm going to stock up my freezer. You guys saw earlier I got a bunch of parathas and fulkas. I don't think I would be needing them in this week. So for now they are going in my freezer. I'm also going to freeze butter sticks until I'm ready to use them for making ghee. Now I will show you how I freeze bread products. Here I'm starting with burger buns. What I like to do is portion these burger buns in groups of 4. That way it's much easier for me to just pull one pack for a given dinner or a meal, and it doesn't mess up my freezer. But you can just throw whole packet of the burger buns in the freezer. It freezes well as well, but this is the way that I like to do. I am using freezer safe zip top bags for freezing my buns. Once I place the buns in the bag, I remove as much air as possible from the bag and then zip the top. I'm taking 2 packages of airtight buns and placing them in a bigger bag, and then I'm going to make 2 more stacks like these and place them in the freezer. The next one are the butter croissants. I'm taking out 4 butter croissants and putting them in an airtight container for tomorrow's breakfast. The remaining I'm going to portion it out in groups of 2. So each group is going to have about 6 to 7 of the butter croissants, and I'm going to repeat the same process. That is, take out as much air out as possible so that I have an almost airtight product. Removing air not only gives you a compressed package which makes storage in the freezer and ease, but also it prevents freezer burns, which means that when you take buns out from the freezer and thaw them, they are as good as fresh ones. This does take some time and maneuvering around to get as much air out as possible. Now I have 3 packages of butter croissants ready to be frozen. Bagels next in line to be frozen. Started by prepping the bagels by taking them out from their bag and then cutting each bagel in half. Bagels can be frozen directly, they don't need to be cut in half, but I prefer to cut in half because it saves me time in the morning rush hour, especially if I have forgotten to thaw out the bagels previous night. I am using my serrated knife to cut the bagels in half. Serrated knife cuts bread or bread products much cleaner and much neater. Plus, using serrated knife puts less pressure on the wrist when you're doing the cutting actions. I'm going to follow the same process, that is, place the bagels in a zip-top bag which is freezer friendly and take out as much air as possible, and then transfer these compacted bagels in the freezer. It's time to transfer all the prepped bread into the freezer. I have 4 bags of buns, 2 bags of bagels, and 2 loaves of sandwich bread that I am freezing. I got 4 loaves of sandwich bread, of which 2 I will just freeze them directly because the bread is double bagged, so I don't need to worry about it getting freezer burns. And I have 3 bags of butter croissants. Here is a quick peek at my restocked freezer. The topmost shelf has pre-prepped veggies that I had prepped earlier. The green bags, it's gawar and methi. Then I also have lauki, frozen okra and pre-prepped beans. Next one is the bread prep that you just saw and should last us for good 6 to 8 weeks. Then I have frozen parathas, homemade pancakes and butter, and the last one is again the pre-prepped breads that you saw. Now it's time to restock the pantry. I'm going to take out all my mason jars and bring them down to my counter so that decanting all the dry pantry supplies that I got will become much easier. I like to use glass jars. I think they are really beautiful, and when the pantry is fully stocked, they look pretty. I'm trying to fit as much as possible in the mason jar, but whatever remains, I'm going to keep it in their original packaging, then remove the excess of the packaging and secure it nicely with a binder clip. This is what I called overflow or overstock, and I place them in a separate basket. Typically, I don't touch my overstock basket unless I am running out of my beans or lentils in the mason jars. The overstock basket is like an insurance for me. For any reason I forget to buy the pantry supplies I am running short on, I have some kind of a backup in my overstock basket. I will tap into it only when I have run out of my supplies in the mason jars. After stocking up on beans and dals, I am ready to stock up my dry fruit garnish basket. I'm using smaller mason jars for these. I have 4 dry fruit garnishes in this, like almonds, pistachios, cashews, and raisins. I keep my dry fruits in the pantry itself because my house is on the cooler side. If your house is on the warmer side, you may want to keep it in refrigerator or freezer. I thoroughly enjoy the process of decanting, refilling, and restocking my pantry. It is not only relaxing and calming for me, but also a reminder of the abundance of food that I am blessed with the abundant supply that I have on hand. And it just reminds me to appreciate and be thankful for everything that I am blessed with. I have one more pantry staple that I need to decant into a larger container. It is this big bag of besan. I really went all out and bought this besan because I want to try a couple of different recipes. This is a 1-gallon mason jar. It's one of the largest jars that I have, and I'm going to stock besan in this, and there's still some remaining, but I do have another smaller jar that I am emptying in it. If there is a small leftover like flour or something, I try to take it out and put it in a separate container before topping it off with fresh ones. Now it's time to get all my snacks and goodies into these jars. I got a big bag of cookies from Costco. These are one of my kids' favorite cookies. I also love them. I'm portioning them out because I don't want my kids to eat all at once. I want them to be saved for a later time as well. So I'm portioning them out and keeping them in different spots so that we have something remaining towards the end of the month. So here is a quick peek at my pantry. This is the last of the decanting of pantry supplies that I'm doing. Once these cakes are in this airtight container, I'm going to start placing all my supplies back in my pantry. So I'm going to start with the bottom shelf of my pantry. This is the place where I put the heavy or the least used pantry supplies. So here we go. I'm placing this humongous can of crushed tomatoes. I'm going to portion it and freeze most of it. Then I'm placing all the other things that I won't be needing immediately. Here you can see that I'm placing the overstock or overflow items in the bottom bin. This is what I call my overflow bin. Here is a quick peek at my pantry. This middle shelf is the prime real estate for my most used, most eaten up food in the house. The next shelf is where we use the snacks that we are currently eating along with some canned food. And then bottom shelf is the one where is the overflow or the least used item. I'm also stocking up the top part of the pantry with snacks that are overflow, and this shelf is dedicated to my low carb baking supplies. One of the last things for tonight is to remove the potatoes and onions from their plastic bags and put them in these handled baskets and remove as much dry onion skin as possible before hanging these baskets on their rack. The last thing to do is to clean up my kitchen surfaces. I'm using a mixture of vinegar and water to clean these granite countertops. Then I'm going to clean my stove, sink and the floors. And once these things are done, I'm going to get my dishwasher running. Here's a quick look at my kitchen. Everything is neat and tidy. Everything is back in the place. Counters are spotless. Dishwasher is running. Floor is cleaned up. I am ready to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. It's time to call it a night. Bye guys.